Now we're gonna start access. So let me share my screen. So the first thing when you open access, this is your welcome screen. So the first thing that you wanna create is to create a blank database. These are the ready-made, these are all templates. So the first thing is we have to go with blank database. When you hit the blank database, you will be asked the name of the database. See, the first thing is to create a blank database. So now Access is asking you what's the database name. Still, we did not talk about the other object, the table, the forms. First is the database name, who gonna hold the records, the information. So in your book, the name of the database is gonna be Brad Last Associate. Once you put the name of your database, you have to click on this yellow folder to indicate the location that you want to save this database. So I will click it and I will save it under the document with the name Brad Loss Associate. I will click OK. Then I will hit create. Once you hit create, now you are in Access. Microsoft Access has less command as compared to Microsoft Word, Excel, or PowerPoint. So first is first. The first thing in the top is your title bar. It tells you that the name of the database is Brad Loss Associate is the database and the location where you have saved the database. You will have your name if you have sign in as your name is going to show up here. Minimize if you want to minimize access. Maximize or restore the screen and close access. If you look in the left top of the screen, you will have this is your quick launch toolbar. Now the toolbar, it has this white down arrow to customize the quick access toolbar. You have undo, redo, and save. If you want to add more command to your quick access toolbar, you will click the white with the left key. And then you see I have three things available right now: save, undo, redo. So if you want to have, let's say, spelling, so I will click on spelling. You see now the ABC is there. The next, this is your tab, T-A-B, tab. Microsoft have added these new tabs. When you click the tabs, these here, you see where my flashing light indicate. This is your ribbon, R-I-B-B-O-N, ribbon. The ribbon consists of groups. You see the groups has names. So I clicked it the home tab. The ribbon has changed. So the ribbon consists of what groups, and what's inside the group is all the command. And the groups has names like find, records, sort, filter, clipboard, views, text formatting, right? So if I click on create, then you see the ribbon has changed. Now I have all the creation, whatever I want to create in my database, Brad Loss Associate, right? So I will go back to home, and then if you want to go back and you want to print out your tables, any of the object in your database, you will click File. Info is about your file, information about your database. So if you want to edit or view the database properties, you will click here, you will edit here, and then you will click OK once you're done, once you fill this category. The next thing you see is new. If you want to open a new database, if you want to open any existing, open, and then you will have save. You can save your database. Save as if you want to save with any other formation. Print if you want to print it. Close if you want to close the existing database. Accounts, it tells you that if you have the Gen 1 Microsoft Office subscription. And then feedback and option means that if you want to add more option to your Access tab, if you need more commands. So the command that we have is more than enough. So you will click back the white arrow to get back from the file. Now you look here, your navigation pane, or your what we call is that if you see these two arrow here, if you click here is gonna what we call these two less than sign is the shutter bar for the navigation window to hide. So see the navigation pane is gonna have all your objects in Access like the tables, the and also you're gonna have all your forms, report, every object that you're gonna be creating is gonna be listed under the navigation pane. If you wanna see it, you will click the shutter bar again to open it. Okay? So this is what we call is the database object window. Okay. So all your object will be listed here. So by default, when you start Access, you will have only one table. And if you look in the right hand side where my flashlight indicate, this is your data sheet view. You look down here in the bottom of the screen, it says data sheet view. Now the data sheet view is where you can enter the record, right? So by default, when you started Access, Access will give you one table with one column, and that column is named as ID. So what if you don't want this ID column that Access already provided you? So what you're gonna do is that we have two ways to create the field, the columns. By default, Access has given us one table with one column name ID. But the thing is that I don't want to use this ID, right? I want to use my own column names. So no problem. How you gonna do that is you have to click on this here where it says ID. You will click on it. See how I'm doing it, and then you will double click it. And you see once you double clicked it, ID is being highlighted, and then we're gonna be changing it because I don't want ID. I want to put my first column as account is manager number. Once I did that, then I will click on the row. All the gray are your columns. So the first column is account manager number, and then I will click here. Once I clicked here, you see I have to go back and click these until they become purple. Sorry, until it become pink. And then once you did this, when you clicked it, now both of them are being selected. What you want to do is you will click on the field. You see Access has two tabs now because you have selected the table. And if you look in your title bar, it says Table Tools. In your table tools, you have two things, fields and table. So we're going to go to the field. Once you are in the field, you see here the data type. The data type means that you have to specify what kind of data will the account manager will store, or what kind of data will the account manager number field will have. Suppose it could be text, it could be number, right? So you have to tell Access what will be the data type, what kind of data will this column will store. So here it says data type by default is auto number because Access give us the ID. Remember, we override the ID. So we need to change the data type to short text. Short text means it's gonna be either gonna be a mix of text and number, or it could be a pure text. So what's the difference between short and long? Short means that you can go to 255 character long, whereas long text is unlimited. You can type as much as you want, right? And these are the other data types. So for example, if I'm creating a column name age, then obviously the data type will be number, right? Because you're going to store number in the age field. So I will change this to short text. So we changed it. Now it says the field size under the properties, field size. So what will be your field size? In this case, I don't want to have 255 character long field. What I will do is that I will change this to only 2. I want it to be 2. The field size is only 2. So I will allowing people to only enter the account manager only 2 digits, right? Then the next thing that I want to share with you, you see here the field name, the column name is too big. So what we can do is that we can abbreviate it. We can make it short, right? How to make it short? Under the properties group for the fields, you will see name and caption. So you will click it, and then the name is gonna be account manager number. Then I will create an option, what do you call it, a caption. The caption is I will say AM space number means account manager number, and then the description is optional. If you wanna say something that's well and good, if you don't wanna say anything, just you can leave it as empty. So according to your book, they said we have to type this as is a unique identifier of account manager. And then I will click OK. So now we have done two things. First, I created the column, account manager number, and then I selected the column, and then I changed the data type to short text, and then I changed the field size so that I can only enter 2 digits or 2 letters, and then the name and caption because the name was too long, so we have to abbreviate it. So we went to name and caption, and then we edited the caption as AM number instead of big account manager number, and the description is unique identifier of the account manager. Once you did that, you will click OK, and then that will show up here. Now we have to define the remaining field in a table. Now, as I said, there's two ways that you can create the columns. One way, while you are in a data sheet view of the table, although the data sheet view, what you see here is where you have to enter the records. But you can also create the column at the same time. So simultaneously you can create the column and then you can enter the record in one screen. But if you said no, just I wanna dedicate it to just enter the column name, the field. First I wanna declare the columns, the field. Then you can go to the table design, which I'm gonna show you later on. So first, let's add the remaining field. Now to add the remaining field, you see here it says click to add. You will click it. Once you clicked it, now it's asking you what will be the second column that you want to enter in the table. So last name of the account managers. So last name means that it's going to be a text, right? You will enter the last name of the managers. So you will go to short text, and then once you hit short text, you see the field one is highlighted. Now you will write down last name, and then you can click on the empty space below name. Look, so now this guy is available. See last name, and then you will click here to change the field size. So the field size is now, it says 255, right? So you can change this to 15. Change it to 15. And then the data type will be short text. That's good. Now we're gonna add the next one. So we can go here, and then we're gonna add the next. I will click here, click to add. Is gonna be first name. So that obviously is gonna be, the data type will be short text because it's gonna be a text. And then I will type first name. Then I will click the below row here. Then I will change the field size to 15. And then I'm gonna go to my fourth column of my table. So I will click to add. The next one is gonna be street. So short text. I will type street. I will click the below cell. Then I will change the street to 20, the size 20. And then we're gonna go to add our fifth column. I will click to add. That is a city. The city is gonna be a short text. And then I will type here city. The city should be 20. Then I will move to my next here. The next will be state. So that's a short text. I will click short text. I need to go back here because I did not click the down white arrow, white cell. That's why it doesn't type it. So I will go back. So if that happens, so you have to double click the field one, and you have to override it again with city, and then click the below cell. See, it's gonna activate it. Then here, double click it again, and then it was state. And then the state, I want it to be the size 2. So I will click the white here, and then I will change the field size to 2. Next, I will click here to add. The next will be postal code. So postal code, it could be a number, it could be a text. So if you want to put a hyphen between number like a zip code, you put the zip code, then hyphen, and then the last four digits also. So we can declare that as a short text, but It's up to you what you want. The book wants us to have it as short text. So once we did short text, now we're gonna type the name of the column, which is postal code. And then you will click down here. Again, you will click underneath the postal code until your cursor is blinking there. Then we have to change the size to 5. And then once we create this, now if you want to add the rest of the columns using the table design view, I will show you now. So if you look now, I am in the bottom of the screen in the status bar. It says I am in a data sheet view. Now I can add the record I want, right? So if you want to add the record right now, so you can start adding them here. Like I will add the first record. Let me flip the page. So let's say I will enter the first record in your book. For example, I will say 42. When you are entering the record in a row, in a table, you will see a pencil that indicate that you are modifying the record, because every time you enter a record, it has to be row wise. So one straight record you have to enter. So the account manager is 42. You can press the enter key. You can move with the right arrow. You can click the mouse, whatever option you like. So the last name is LU. Then you will press the enter key. Then I will say Peter. Press enter key. Street is F5624 Murray Avenue. Now, if you want to see the whole thing or some of your stuff you type is cutting off, you will go to the right hand side of the column that you have a problem with, and you will double click it. Look, my mouse pointer changed to a big thick plus sign. Double click it to stretch it. City is Davidson. IN is the state. See, I cannot add more than 2. Only that's 2 you can put there because you said the size is 2. The postal code is 46007, right? So if you want to add the next record, I will go down here. I will say 31, and then is Rivera, then is Heidi, is 325 T80 Street, Averdale, IL 60311. So you can keep on going, right? So if you want to go modify something, you can just click the cell you want to modify. You can double click it. You can enter. You can override if you did any wrong. So now the next thing I was telling you that if you want to change to a design view, you don't want to enter the way you create those columns while you were in a data sheet view. So I told you there's 2 views in a table. Data sheet view is where you can create the column at the same time as you see me, I enter the record too. Or you can just go to the design view and just create the columns and then come back and double click on the table, open the table, and then add your record. So these are the options you can use. Now, what I will do, I will save the table. Now to save the table, we have to close it from the X. You see the X here where my mouse is indicating. You will click here, or you can hit the floppy disk to save it. It's up to you how you want to save it. With the quick launch toolbar and the floppy disk to save it, the table, or I can close it from here. So I will click here. It's gonna ask me, do you want to save the changes? I do. Now, once I said yes, you have to write down the table name. So the table name, table one is not a good name. So obviously we need to change to a specific name. The name will be account manager. These will have all the account manager names, their information, their street, the city they are in, the state they are in, their postal code. And then we need to add the starting date, the salary, and the bonus rate, right? So these three things I did not add. I will show you later on how to add it. So now I will click OK. Now the table has been named to account manager. Account manager. So now I need to go to the design view of the account manager. So what you're gonna do, you will do right click, design view. Again, you will click and then right click on the account manager, design view. You will click on the design view. Now look in the design view, that's the place where you can only create the field. Remember the field are the column names table, right? So these are the ones that we already created it earlier, remember? So now we're gonna add, and then two things are very important in a design view. One is the field name you have to indicate, and then you have to indicate the data type. What kind of data will this column will store or will save, or what kind of data you're gonna type for that column. So see, it's the same way. Either you can go here and design it the way you want it, or you can do it in the data sheet view. Now I will declare my next remaining columns, which I left it for this purpose here to show you. So that is start date. I can do the start date too in the data sheet view, but I want to show you that that's the most easiest. This design view is just dedicated to indicate the field names, to create the field names and their data type. That's it. The description, this side here is optional. If you want to say something, that's well and good. If you don't want to say, you can skip. Now remember, you were changing the field size from the ribbon. You see here, I have the field properties now. Every field, every column that you're going to add, they will have their own field properties so that you can change it, right? So for the start date, actually is a date, then I will go here and change the data type from short text to what? Date and time. Then I will proceed for my next is gonna be salary. The salary data type will not be a number, is gonna be currency. So what's the difference between number and currency? Currency means you want the value to have a dollar sign with it. Whereas if you said large number or number, then obviously it's gonna be a pure number without having any dollar sign with it. So that one here. The last one, I will do bonus rate. The bonus rate is gonna be a number because I wanna put a pure number. Now the problem with the bonus rate is that by default is a number, and if you look in the field properties is a long integer. So if you want to type a bonus like let's say 2.5, you will not be able to do that. If you want to put 0.5, the bonus rate, so Access will convert it back to 0 because it's a long integer. Long integer, it cannot be a decimal or a point. So if you want to add a point like 0.5, 2.5, so then we have to change the field size from long. you will go all the way to the right of the field size. You will see a drop down and change it to single. The field size will be single. Next, below the field size is the format. You will click here and then it's gonna be fixed because you wanna fix it to the decimal places, right? So you have to click on fixed, and then the decimal places that indicate how many decimal places you want. So I want only 2 decimal places, so I will choose 2 instead of being auto. This one is fixed. Now once I'm done with all the information for the first table, I will hit the X here. I will save my changes. Now I will open the table. To open the table, I have 2 ways. One is right click and open like this. It opens the table in a data sheet view. I will close it. If you want to open the table with right click, open. So once we open the table, now you can add those other field that you just added, right? So we're gonna add, the next one is gonna be the starting date for Heidi. Is you can see as because the start date is a date and time, you will have the calendar, and then you can choose the date and time, or you can just type it like 6/3/13 for 2013, and then the salary is gonna be $48,750. While I type this, you see the dollar sign will accompany the number. Now the bonus rate for Heidi is 0.15. If I did not change it to a single, then the problem is that every time I type 0.15 is going to change it to 0 because of being a long integer, right? Now I'm going to Bitterloo. I will move with the arrow, or you can press the enter key. I will type his start date. His start date is 8/3/15, and then $36,750, and then I will add 0.09. Right? Now, if you want to add the rest of the account managers, you will keep on typing. Let's say that you said I'm done, so you can close the table. It's done. Now, if you want to add another record or 2 more records, you will double click it. You will click here now. Access will give you a blank row, so that will be 58. That will be MUROWSKI, Merowski, Karen 168, Trusadel. Now I forgot to type drive, so I went back and double click or click inside and type drive. Carlton is the city. IL 6360313 is the zip postal code. Is 11/9/2016, and then it's 24,000, and then it's 0.08. I'm gonna add the next record 35. That is Simpson. That is mark 1467 Hardwell Street. Walker is the city. IN is the state. 46004 5719 14, and then it's 40,500, and then the bonus is 0.12. So these are the 4 records. So I add all the 4. So when you are in a data sheet view, see in the bottom of the screen it said data sheet view. That's where you have to enter the record. You cannot enter a record in a design view. Okay, so if you close it, you close the table. Now if you want to go to your design view, if you want to add another column, or you want to modify the column, or you want to delete the column, you will do right click, design view. It opens the design view of the table account manager. You can select like this, and then you can delete the row, you can insert a new row, and then if you want to modify, the name was mistake, spelling wrong, you can modify them, right? Remember when I was showing you how to create the account manager, and then we abbreviated it, remember? So look, you can do it here too. Under the caption, you can write down AM number. You see that? So either you want to do it under the datasheet view, or you can just click the design view, and then you can add your properties with that specific field. So once we done this, I will close the design if I don't want to add more information. Now, the next one I want to do is I will show you quickly if you want to print out these tables. So you will double click on the account manager, and then you will go to file, you will go to print, and then you can do quick print, or you can do print, is up to you. So let's say if I say if we say quick print is gonna send to your printer without making any changes. So if you hit print, it's gonna say the name of the printer, how many copies you want to print, everything. Then you can click a number of copies, and then you can click OK. Now if you go to file again and you say print and quick print, it's gonna print quickly without allowing you to modify anything, right? Now the next thing, if you go to file and print, and then you can do print preview. So you can see that some of your stuff is cutting off because your orientation is, you see under the page layout in your ribbon, it says portrait. So you can change it to landscape. See, then you have to shrink it down so that the other column will show up. Now how you gonna do that? You will have to close the close print preview, and then you see the state, it has a big space. You can shrink it down. Move your cursor to the middle, in the left, in the right of that state column until you see a tick plus. Hold the left key and move it backward. Move it into the left. See? Hold the left and drag it until you can shrink it down. See, I can shrink it down. See? Name, whatever space I can shrink it or delete the space. That's well and good. It's gonna help me. Now this one, you have big gap here. I will move it to the left. If you want to stretch it, you have to drag it to the right. So I can move it more. And then the start date, postal code also we can do a little bit. You don't want to do a lot, so that's gonna cut off. So this one, salary, we can move to the right of that salary and then drag it. Now we can go back to file, print preview. Now everything look perfect, all right? And then you can hit print to print and then present it to your boss. Okay. Next, now I will teach you about to add another table. Now the thing is that the table is gonna be coming from Excel. So means you can import anything that you create in another Microsoft application. For example, if you have created a table in Excel that has all the information about your customers, then obviously instead of creating a new table in Access, I can import all my Excel file into Access, and then I will be done. I will show you how to do that. So the first thing I will do is that I will share the screen to show you that how you're gonna be seeing. Let's see, if you open the browser and then you go to your canvas, you have to put your login password, and then I will go to courses. I will go to my course, BK 136.7726 database management system. You will click on it, and then it's going to open the course in the canvas, and then look where it says modules. Modules is below the quizzes. Once you hit the modules, you will see the first in the top. It says chapter 1 to 3 data, student data. So you will click on it, and then you will click here, download. Then you have to save it. It's gonna save under the download. Then you have to go to your Windows File Explorer, the yellow folder, and then you will have to go to downloads, and then you have to check for the downloaded file. So that's the one here. You will do right click on it. You will say extract here. Once you did extract all, you will see Access 2016 module 1 to 3. You will double click it, and we are in chapter number 1, module 1, and these are the files they already have given you. When you're gonna be doing your online activity, if I said do lab 1 or 2, they're gonna be here too under your data, student data files, right? Now we need to import this file here, account, related to the account manager, right? So this one is already done. So if we double click it, it's gonna open it in Excel. See, Microsoft Excel. See, these are all is done in Excel. So instead of creating all this stuff in Microsoft Access, we can just import it and everything will be done. So see how we're gonna do this. So we're gonna go back to Access. So now I will close this table. I will save the changes to my account manager. I will go to file. Sorry, I will go to external data. External data. Then the first group under the external data is import and link. You will click on new data source. Then you will click from file. So you have to indicate what file is it. Is it an Excel? Is it an HTML document? Is it a simple text file? Whatever that file is. So in this case, it's an Excel file. So I will click on Excel. Now it's going to ask me where is the file that you want to import is located. Where is that file you want to import to access? So I will browse. I will go to my download. That's the folder, the one I unzipped it, double click it. Manual 1 is chapter number 1, double click it. I will click on account, click open. Now these are the three options. The first option says import the source data in a new table in the current database. So the file I'm importing, the account Excel file, is gonna be added to this database as a separate entity, as a separate file. Is that what you wanna do? The second one says append a copy of the record to the table. So let's say that you have more account managers information and you want to add them in the existing table that you already created. So then I will append those new information to the existing table account manager. Then I will do the second option. And then the next one is to link the data source by creating a link table. So we are not going to be doing these two things. We're going to do this. Import the source data in a new table in a current database. So you will click OK. Now here is very important. First row contain column heading. So remember, always when you're going to import something, whether it's in Excel or a text file, the first row is going to be the one that has the column. That's the column names. They are not the records. They are your columns. So you will choose the first row contain. Choose this option. Once I choose it, now see that become your column name in a table, and the rest is your records. Then hit next. Hit next. This is very important now. Do you want access to create the primary key like this? Access add a primary key. If you already know that one of your column will be your primary key that will never allow anyone to add a duplication, then in this case I know that the account number will never be duplicated. I don't want the account number column to have a duplication. So I know that this will be my primary key, right? The field with a primary key. So I will hit choose my own. Once you hit choose my own, you see Access automatically detected that the account number is the primary field, or the primary column name is account number. So it means that now this column, whatever the account number, will be a unique. You cannot assign somebody else the same account number, right? So every account name will have their own account number. So next. Now here it says import to the table. So it's asking us what will be the name. What name you want to give to your table. So in this case, we're gonna be naming it as we're gonna name it as account table, right? So we're gonna name this as account table. So let's type here account. If you want to add the table word, you can do that. This table mostly have all the accounts related to the account managers. So account, and then I will hit finish. Now Access will ask you Do you want to save this step? This will allow you to quickly repeat the operator without using the wizard. So if you want to do that, you will hit save, and then you will type here the description. So the is an optional. Most of the time, I don't save it, the steps. So I will type import data from account workbook into account table. After you did that, and then also I will say save. Now you see the table has been created, account. Now if I double click to open the account and I want to add record to it, I will double click it. See, it is already done because you have imported it from Excel to Access. Now, what if you want to modify some of the columns? Okay, like in this case, you see it says account number. I can say AC number. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, we need to change the caption, right? I can also do it from here. You see, I can go to the field. I can change the size here. I can also change the caption name from here. I can also change the data type, right? So what I will do is I will do like this. I will change it from here, you see. But if you want to do it in the design view, that's well and good. So I will save this, then I will do right click on the account, and then I will go to design view. It opens the design view, and the first thing is account number. Remember you said this will be my primary key. See, it has a key. And if you don't want to have the primary key, then you can just click the key here, primary key. So the first account number, it has to be the size of it. See, I went down to the field properties and I want to change it to 5. And then the caption, I will type AC space number sign, you see. After I did that, then I will go to the account name and I will change the size to 30. I will go to my next street. I will make it to 20. See, I'm changing the imported table now because it was in Excel. Now I'm gonna change the properties according to what I want to do. So city, now 255. I don't want 255. I want to make it 20. I will click on the field size and change it to 20. Then I will go to state. I want the state to be 2. Postal code will be 5. The size, field size. Amount paid is already a currency. Current due is currency, and the account manager is gonna be 2. And the caption, you will see where the caption is. You will click, and then the caption will be AM space number. And if you want to write down the description, you will go here and then you will type account. That's an optional. Manager number. And then if you want to write down here also, you will say is a account number. Okay. So you can also say 2 uppercase letters followed by 3-digit number. Once I do this, then everything looks perfect. I will close it. I will save the changes. You will get another message says some data with my loss. You will say yes. So now the second table has been created. So once we have done with that, now I will teach you how to create a query. The queries, we have chapter number 2 is all about the queries, the object queries, right? As I told you in Access, you have table, queries, forms, and report. These are all the objects, right? So the second object, which is chapter number 2, is all about the queries. So chapter number 1 is just an introduction about the different objects that we have. So we're done with the table. I'm hoping that you get how to create a table. Now, I will just show you. If you want to create your third table, you will go to create and you will click on table design. It's going to take you to the design of the table. You will define all the field, the column names that you want for the new table and the data type. For example, I will say social security number, for example, like this. That will be a short text, and then I want the social security to have a primary key so that I cannot duplicate the social security number. So I will say primary key like this. Then I will go down. I will say first name. The data type is this. Then I will say age is number, and then I will keep on going. I will say address is a short date. Then I will change the property, how many field size you want. So that's how you're gonna be creating the table. Once you're done, you will click here, the X. You will be asked, do you want to save this? You will say yes, and then you will give it a name. So here, because I want to show you how to do it, so just I create just a template for you. So I'm not gonna save it. You see? Now let's go back to the queries. Queries are simply question, the answer to which are in the database. So I'm asking question regarding the table that I have. What, for example, like what if your boss says, can you give me all those employees who lives in Baltimore out of 10,000 people? Are you gonna open the table and say, oh, the first one is from Baltimore, then the 60th record is from Baltimore? No, we cannot do like that. So what you need to do is to using the queries. So queries are simply what? To ask a simple question, and then Access will give you those answer of your question in a few seconds. So to create the queries, the first thing is that be sure that you just select it. Don't double click, just select like this. Just select the account table. And then once you did that, we're gonna go to create. The third group for the create tab under the ribbon is queries. So we're gonna go to query wizard, and then we're gonna select simple query wizard, click OK. And then you're gonna be adding those columns that you wanna ask question about it, right? So the table account is already there because you already selected it before you clicked the query. So that's why automatic access pull up the account table. Now, which field you want so that you can ask question about it. Now to add the available to the selected field box, you can either double click it like this, or you can use the greater sign to edit. So it's up to you. If you said I want the account name, you will hit the greater sign. What if you did mistake and you said no, I don't want any of this? Then you can use this guy. the two less than sign. Look. So you can double click to add, or you can click the single greater sign like this. Then I need the amount paid, and then I need the account manager. Then hit next. Then leave it as a detail, show every field of every record, then hit next. I will leave it as account query, and then open the query to view. I will hit finish. There's no more next. Finish. That's the query now. And see in your navigation pane, in your all access object window, you see now access add a new category that says queries. The table is above, the next object is queries, right? Now, once I will close this, now every time you add a new record under the account, the query will fetch that information because this account query is part of the account, right? So if you do anything, changes to the account, also the queries will change, right? Now, what you did is just you fetch everything. You can also see everything in the table, see, right? So we're gonna use now the criterion. We're gonna put our criterion. So what's a criterion? Means a condition. So a criterion is a condition that the record must satisfy in order to be included in the query results, right? So remember, what if your boss says, I wanna fetch all those record of the account manager who is 35. Then in a few seconds, Access will fetch all those record who are what? Account manager 35. So what is that is that we have to specify our criterion. The criterion is a condition that the record must satisfy in order to be included in the query results. Now to do that, you will select the account query and then do right click and then go to the design views so that you can add your criterion. So the query looks like this. You are in a query design, and in the gray in the top you will always see the table will be listed in here. Because the account query has already we have used only one table, that's why you are seeing the table here. You can add any other fields if you want it. You can just double click them. It's gonna be added in the empty column. Now, if you look below the gray, below is the grid lines. In the grid is where you're gonna see all your columns will be listed, the one you wanna ask question about it. So the first row under the field, the fields will be the first that will have all the field names. The second row under the grid in the design of the query is the table. So it's telling you that these fields, they are coming from which table. Now, lucky we have only one table, but later on in chapter number 2, you will have 2 table, 3 table, and so on. So then it's gonna tell you that this field, it comes from the other table and the name of the table will be listed below it. The next row is sort. What if you wanna sort it alphabetically or whatever you wanna do? So if you click here, you have the option ascending wise, descending wise, or not sorted, right? Then the fourth row is show. What if you said, I don't want to show the account manager number. So you will check the box to remove the check sign. Now you need to execute your query. How to execute is the run. See where my flashlight indicate? You have to run it now. So once you click run, see now I can see everything but not the account manager because I hide it. I don't want to see it, right? And then you can hit file and print, and then these will be printed, right? Now I need to go back. You see below the file, the group in your ribbon, the first group is views. I can hit the pencil on the ruler to go back to the design of the query, Or I can do right click on design view. The same thing, you see, the pencil and the ruler. The pencil and the ruler is the same thing. So I can click here, the down arrow, and then I can say design view, or I can just click the pencil and the ruler. See, I went back. Now I will check the account manager again. I want to see it, show me. Now these are the two important criteria. In the criteria now, as I told you, the criterion is a condition that the record must satisfy in order to be included in the query result. So your boss says, can you fetch all the records that has the account manager 35? So you will tap 35. Now I will run it. You see here the last column, it has only 35. Only I want to see the account manager's number who are 35. Once you got it, you will have to go to file, and then you will go to print, and then you will hit print. Now if you say print preview, I can see this. I will make a landscape, see, and then I will hit print. All right, so I will close the print preview. I will go back to the design of the query. And then what if your boss says, can you find all those records? Because I don't want to go much in detail about the queries, because chapter number 2 is all about the queries. We will do a lot of things about the criteria, the OR, and this and that. So what if your boss says, can you find all those accounts who have the current due 0? Just you will tap 0 under the criteria row, and below the current due, run it. Only one record, key community college system, has a 0 current due. The rest they have something. So I will go back to my design. I will click it. Then I will just change it to what they ask us to do. 35 they say, right? So account manager 35, fetch me all those records. I'm asking about the question about account manager 35. Then I will run my query. Here we go. Then I will close it. I will save the changes. That is done. Now I will teach you how to create the third object, which is the form. Right? So the form is next. A form in a database is a formatted document with the fields that contain data. So like a paper form, a form in a database is a formatted document with the field that contain what? The data. Forms allows you to view and maintain the data. Forms can also be used to print data. Also, you can use the form to enter record to your table, because the form that you're going to be creating it is going to be from a table. Remember, if you don't have a table, you cannot create a query, report, forms. You cannot do anything of those objects. The first object that you need to create is the table. So first table, once you have the table and then you put the records you want, then you can create queries, you can ask questions, and then you can create the form. So let me show you how to create the form. You will click the account table again. You will go to create. You will hit and look for the group that says forms, and you will hit the first icon under the forms is form. There you go. The form is created, and if you look at, you are in a form layout. You are in what view? You are in a layout. In a layout view, you can modify, you can boldface the records. Now these are the labels where my mouse is showing you. These are the labels, and these are the records coming from your table. Now if you look down, I have record 1, then I can do the next, That's my next. I click the play button. See, that's the third, 4, 5, and so on. If I want to go back to the first record, I will hit the play button again with the line with it. See, I'm back to record 1, right? So that's how you're gonna navigate between the records. Now, if you want to add a record, we have to be in a form view because this is your layout view. Layout means you want to modify, you can boldface this. So to change to a form view, I will go below the file. You see the ribbon that says view. You will click the down arrow and you see I'm on a layout view. Whenever you see the orange around the boxes, around your labels or your text boxes, that means that you are in a layout view. So the form has 3 views: form view, layout view, design view. So I will go to form view. When you are in a form view, you can add a new record by clicking the play button with an orange. You see that down in the bottom of the screen, a play button with an orange. If I click that, it's gonna add a blank sheet that where you have to put your record. So you can add a new account number, account name, street, and the account manager number. If you want to go back to the first record, see I have 1 of 15 record, and then I will click the play button, next. I have 4 of 15, 6, 7, 8 of 15, 9 of 10 of 15, you see. And if I want to go to the first one, I will click the first button there. Look, so that's the form. Now I will close the form. You will be asked, do you want to save it? I will say yes. I will be calling it account. Let's see. We're gonna be saving this as account form. So I will go here and add the form word and click OK. So that's the form now. If you want to open the form again, just double click it. You want to close it, hit the X. Okay. Now I will teach you the report. So what is the report actually? They said in your book, it is the easiest to create a report with all the fields and then delete the field you do not want, right? Now, the Bread Loss Associate, that's the database name, Bread Loss Associate, wants to be able to present the account financial data in a useful format. To do so, they will create the account financial report. Okay. Now to create the report, the thing is that simple is that you will have to select the table that you want to create the report of. And in this case, I will click the account and I will go to create and I will look for the group that says reports under the ribbon for the create tab. The group name is report. Then I will hit the first here, report. Once I clicked it, the report has been created. And then what I want to do next is that I want to save my report. So I will close it. Do you want to save it? Yes. Now this will be account financial report. Click OK. Now the report is created. You see it has its own category, reports, and then the account financial report. Now if you want to open the report, you will double click it. There you go. Now what if you wanna modify the report? So you will see here in the ribbon below the file is view. You will click here and then you will click on now the report has 4 views. Report view, what you see now, print preview, layout view, and design view. So let's go to layout view. Once you are in a layout view, you can change the label. You will click here. See, I clicked it, then click inside, and then I will change this to financial report. And then we can also change this. I don't want AC number, so I need to say account, and then I will delete the rest, and then I will say account number. Now I want to wrap it down, so I will shrink it. I will increase, see the arrow, the 2 black arrows. See, I round it, I wrapped it down. And then the same way, if you want to shrink something like this one here, you can move it. See, this you can shrink it. This one, the city, and then the zip code, just click, see, account, you can wrap it down, this guy also, and then here you can change this, it should be account manager, and then number, you see, and then this one here I will stretch it, click and then stretch it. There you go. Now one thing is missing here, the amount paid. So you will click on here. See, I clicked on the first one where it says amount paid and everything is being selected. And then you will see the Sigma under the grouping and total, because we want to find the total. Just click on this guy here and sum it. You will see I got the sum. And then if you want to boldface this, you will go to format tab. You will hit boldface. You can give it the color you like. It's up to you what you want to do. Look, yeah, yeah. So the report is done. And if I want to view it, I will go back to design, view report. See, I create this. Now I can hit file and print, and then this would be printed. If I want to close it, I will close it. Save the changes. Now I will close my database. For example, you done. Now, if you want to open again, you want